It's finished at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1. I'm sorry, that was an absolutely pathetic display from Tottenham Hotspur. It was an absolute shambles from minute 1 all the way to the last minute. Frank said before the game he wants to see Tottenham go at Chelsea. He wants to see, he wants to see us put them under pressure from minute 1. I didn't see that for 96 minutes, however long we were playing on the pitch today. I thought it was an absolute disgrace. I thought it was an absolute shambles. Every single player that took part in that game. And I put Frank in there with it because I think the tactics it was non-existent today. What tactics were there on the pitch? And I'm one of Frank's biggest fans. And I'm sorry, Frank got it all completely wrong today. It was horrific. There was no plan. For the first half, all we were trying to do is lump it forward to Moani and hoping he can make it stick somehow against 2 Chelsea defenders. There was just nothing about us. There was no trying to play through the middle. There was no trying to play between the lines. And it's just like, what are we serving up here? It's disgraceful, to be honest. Like, we're at home against Chelsea, a Chelsea who just lost 2-1 at home to Sunderland. You'd think Spurs would smell blood a little bit. It's been a shambles at home all season, and you'd think they want to turn up for the fans. And I saw no fight, I saw no belief, and I saw nothing to take away from this game in a positive light. The only positive thing was Romero came back on the pitch and looked really good when he came on. Apart from that, Vicario was brilliant. But apart from that, everything was shambolic. I thought Mickey van der Ven put in a bit of a stinker today. I thought Javi, he got completely physically overawed by the Chelsea players. There was just nothing. I thought Cucurella just completely dealt with Mohamed Kudus. There was just nothing in this game to take away and to think about Spurs were on the right track. And, I said after the Newcastle game, we lost 2-0, we deserved it, but I saw some things in that game to take away. I saw some things in our play where we were like trying to create moves, passing and moving and, creating chances. We created absolutely nothing today. Absolutely nothing. For 6 minutes at the end of the first half, 6 minutes at the end of the second half, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like, what are we doing here?
Right, so let me just first of all say I echo absolutely everything you've said. I, like you, am one of Frank's biggest defenders. I believe he will get it right. And I will stand by that I do believe he will get it right. But that against Chelsea at home is totally and utterly unacceptable. There is no movement, there is no desire, there is no passion, there is no fight. As you said, we created absolutely nothing. We brought in 2 creative players in Kudus and Simmons, both extremely poor today. We've got a front line that couldn't hit a banjo at home. It's totally and utterly unacceptable. And you think, like I said, Frank takes a hell of a lot of blame. And today, me of all people, I'm immensely disappointed in his game plan, in what he's tried to get out. But you would think as well, this is a London derby and a very, very heated, passionate London derby. And you would think the players themselves would have some fight in their belly, would have some desire and want to put on a good show and literally give everything they got. They shouldn't need Gene up for this game. This game, the filth at home, West Ham at home, Spurs should have absolutely, the players should have absolutely no need to get pumped up. They should be ready. They know what these games mean to the Tottenham Hotspur fans, and a lot of them have been there long enough to know it as well. But Frank has got this horrifically wrong today, and I'm looking at it as well. Is the lack of getting goals because of the double pivot again with Paulinho and Bentancur? Is it because we just cannot string 2 passes together? Is it because there is no movement from the players? I just don't know what to say about that performance, and people know I have defended Frank. I will continue to, like you, but this was not a good day at the office. The home record for this calendar year remains absolutely shambolic, and that is on both Frank and Ange Postecoglou, and things have got to improve at home drastically, because today we went into that game and apart from Kudus' shot, we literally offered the square root of fuck all.
Yeah, absolutely. At home to Chelsea, we created a 0.05 XG. You know what XG they created? They created 2.92 XG. Like 1-0 completely flattered us.
Yep.
Completely. Like Chelsea could have won 3 or 4-0 today at our stadium,
Yep.
and no one would bat an eyelid with the way the two teams played it out
Yep.
today. It's an absolute disgrace. They had 6 big chances to our 0 big chances. It's an absolute disgrace. Like, I can't stress it anymore, like how pathetic that performance was. And Frank needs to take a long, hard look at himself, and he needs to take a long, hard look at the tactics that we're deploying week in, week out, particularly at home. Away, it's fine. It works. Away, we're doing okay. But at home, this is no way to handle ourselves. You know, we should be the ones pressing the issue. We should be the ones asking the questions.
Yep.
But it just seems like week in, week out, whenever we play at home, we're just waiting to die. We're just giving them back the possession every time and just waiting to die, just asking them to come on to us, come on to us, come on to us. And when you've got players and you're playing against players of quality, and everyone has players of quality in the Premier League. Look, even Wolves
Yep.
we couldn't beat at home, and Wolves have picked up 2 points all season, and
Yep.
they're sleepwalking to relegation.
Yep.
This is a Chelsea side who, yeah, fine, they might not be having the best season themselves, but we know we struggle against them every single year. We know it's a big London derby. All Spurs fans, and I said it before the game, like, all Spurs fans were confident coming into this, including myself.
Yep.
And I said, that's a danger, man, because every time Spurs are too confident, it always gets thrown back in our face. And by God, did it get thrown back in our faces today. And I don't know, man. I don't know what to say anymore, because these home performances seem to be getting worse rather than getting better.
Yeah, I mean, we had the win against Burnley, didn't we, where we obviously played some nice stuff, and Kudus was absolutely on fire, as was Richarlison. Bournemouth was just... This was just basically another Bournemouth, really, wasn't it? Although Bournemouth played better, and absolutely Chelsea should have been... I don't think, in all honesty, even Chelsea fans would have thought they would have had it that easy. Not even that easy, that we would have been that poor. For a game like this, of this magnitude, that we would have just been as poor, as blunt as we were. And we've got to find a way with this. We've got to find some creativity. We've got to find the goal scorer. We can't even with the goal scorers we have, we can't give them the service.
That's the thing. Like, we can have Harry Kane up front for all we want, but
Yeah.
we can't create anything for them.
Yep.
We cannot create anything for them. The whole tactical setup is wrong from bottom to top.
Yep.
It really is. I'm sorry, but
Even the subs that came on, apart from
they had
Romero,
nothing. They had nothing.
I don't know if Richarlison didn't do much. Don't know if Johnson even touched the ball. Destiny in defence, right, and he's coming back from injury. Romero, it just simply this wasn't good enough. I was full of confidence today, but when you look back at that game, that was just an excellent. That was literally just a training drill for Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk about Pedro Porro today, because I thought he was unbelievably bad. Like, he really was, because what he prides himself on is his passing ability. I don't know, what's his actual pass percentage today, because I thought he basically couldn't make a pass for us today. I'm trying to 6 crosses, 0 accurate. It says 1 unsuccessful touch. I can't find his passing metrics, but it was... What was going on with Pedro Porro today, man? Like, I feel like I've noticed this a lot this season with Pedro, where the defensive side of his game is okay, but then when it comes to where he actually makes his money and what his bread and butter is his passing and his creativity, it's just non-existent. It just seems like he's just passing it back to them, passing it out of play, giving them back possession every time.
Yep, I mean, they had that very early chance that João Pedro missed from a Vicario save, which I thought was going wide, but we will never know. It doesn't really matter now. But that was from Porro giving the ball away needlessly. Like you said, I mean, we saw his shocker in his debut against Leicester.
Yeah.
And that was a shocker. And obviously the team were in a mess then and he was playing out of position. But you don't expect these type of performances from Pedro Porro. And in a game where we've been lacking creativity and we know what he can deliver, who knows? I mean, is this played every single game, non-stop, throughout the time he's been here, being Mr. Are these times catching up with him and he needs a rest? And I mean, like, a full game off, because if there's one player we just overplay and overplay and overplay and overplay, it's Pedro Porro. And today, his passing was absolutely I can't even think of a word for it.
No.
Abysmal. Let's go with abysmal.
And you know what? For everything, we got so lucky today. First of all, that only finished 1-0. And second of all, that we ended the game with 11 men. Because Bentancur should most definitely have been sent off. Definitely. That was a horrific challenge. Studs up in the ankle. Was it on Enzo Fernandez, I think it was? Like, I don't know how the VAR didn't go... Reece James, I'm sorry. I don't know how the ref didn't go back or the VAR didn't go back and look at it and overturn the decision, because I thought that was a horrific challenge.
I'm absolutely mystified to how we've seen VAR call the referee over to review certain tackles, and some of them haven't been as bad as that. This is coming from Spurs fans. That was an absolutely horrific tackle, and it could have been a lot worse. And how VAR didn't get involved there. We talk about the deficiencies in VAR, but I'm sorry, to be balanced and to be fair, Bentancur, you're one lucky sod. You should have been getting your marching orders before half-time, a blatant red.
Thing is, right, I could take losing. How many times have we seen us lose to Chelsea in our lifetime? Like, countless amount of time. I can take losing if you can see that fight, that passion, the idea, the identity, the plan.
Yep.
But we saw none of that today. Correct. Absolutely none of it. That's the thing that's so hard to take, because us as Spurs fans, with a new manager, with everything so new, you want to see something to go on. You want to see something to grab. You want to see something to believe in. But when you see performances like that, it's just like, there's nothing to believe in. There's nothing to grab onto.
No, and you look at it now, we've got a big week. We have Copenhagen at home.
Yeah.
Man United at home before the international break. And I actually thought, as many did with today, we were confident, and maybe this could have been the turning point where we could hopefully try and get maximum points in both competitions with these home games and going into an international break on good form, ready for the Christmas running and everything. And it just sucks the life out of you, doesn't it? Yeah,
it really does. It's so disheartening, man. And, Bergvall goes off with the head injury straight away. Javi Simmons comes on in the first few minutes of the game. And you're thinking, all right, Javi, I was saying before the game, this is Javi's game, Yep. It was a massive step in the right direction at Newcastle. I thought he performed a lot better than he has been doing. But today was an absolute shocker, a disaster class from Javi Simmons. He had a lot to do with the goal that we conceded. That goal that we conceded, by the way, was just a shit show from so many different players.
Yep.
Jed Spence, so lackadaisical in the middle of the park. And then that ball back from Javi Simmons to Van de Ven. I mean, Van de Ven's got to deal with it, don't get me wrong, but it was all because of that Javi Simmons pass. Well,
it's all because of Jed's showboating that then became Javi's pass, that then became Van de Ven's not being strong enough in the tackle.
Yeah.
Like I said, Bergvall going off, how that may have impacted the game. Who knows what Bergvall would, or what the game plan was. But you need to be ready. And like I said, what I'm not understanding with Xavi is, like when we were at Everton, he does a lot of work defensively. He actually does get back. He puts in some obviously he got a yellow card and took one for the team. But he's offering more as a defensive backup or cover for the left winger, left back, than he is going forward. And yes, we talk about him being slight. He needs to get used to the Premier League physicality and build up and get in the gym. But we've had players that have been small in stature that have had absolutely no problem with the Premier League. Obviously, a lot of them, like your Lennons and Defoes, have played Premier League football with the likes of that, and Leeds maybe Championship football or whatever it was called back then with Lennon. But that was a weakness to them. But they used their other strengths to make it less. Their weaknesses not count as much. But Xavi has got to find his mojo. We have got to get him into spaces, and he's got to find some confidence.
But I felt like the most time when he did find those spaces today, he was just physically just not up to it. And I thought the Chelsea players just, calmly and easily took the ball off him every time. Like, there was just nothing in that Xavi performance that again, that I can hold on to. Listen to this stat from Opta. Tottenham's XG today, 0.05 this evening, was Tottenham's lowest ever XG on record since 2012 to 2013 season in a Premier League match. And I'm sorry, we could talk about the attacking players, and I've done that in the past this season, talk about the attacking players that we've got, but there is no hiding behind that for Thomas Frank. I'm sorry, there isn't. You look at the Sunderland forward line.
Yep.
They're able to create a hell of a lot more than that against this Chelsea side. And don't tell me the players on that pitch for Spurs in the forward line are not as good as the players that Sunderland got on their forward line.
Oh, no, 100%. I mean, I'll be the first one to retweet and post and talk about when I come on here about all the positive things about Frank. Well, when the shoe's on the other foot, you got to call it out. And that is totally unacceptable. He has got to... Whether he uses this I know we've got 2 big games now. Whether he uses this international break with Justin Concrane and everyone, they have got to find an answer to this question, because Richie is not working. Mawani has hardly had a chance. Solanke, God knows when he'll be back. Tell has had that game against Leeds where he scored a goal. They're not the answers. I mean, it's even given Dane Scarlett. You know, what has Dane Scarlett got to do to get a game if this front line can't... But then again, we can't bloody well create. So, again, when we look at it, a lot of us, including myself, have been asking, where's Papa Matasar? Why isn't he playing? Why he was key at the beginning? He's on today.
Nothing.
Did absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. So it shows in some way the job that Frank's got on at the moment and how much we need support in Chelsea. I'm not saying this as a praise to Thomas Frank, but our squad isn't as deep and as good as we think it is to play regularly in 4 competitions, well, 3 now. We've all been saying about having Sarr and Bergvall to stop this double pivot. Obviously, we can't talk about Bergvall today, but Sarr came in. And you would have thought Sarr, with his drive, his energy, his way of bringing the ball forward, he would have offered something. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And, you know, we're getting excited every time the ball goes out for a corner, because that's seemingly the only way that we're able to score goals and worry oppositions. Every single corner today goes into the hands of Roberto Sanchez.
Yeah, apart from that one that Porro almost scored himself directly. Apart from that, it was the only decent corner that we had, and something that we've been rightfully praising. When you look at it and Spurs get set pieces, we've been so effective with them. Whether people like the fact that we're effective, whether they think that's not the way to win games or score goals, well, at the moment, it's our main way of scoring goals, and the set pieces today were not good. You'd expect better delivery from Porro, from Kudus, and we were saying, let's try and pepper, and I hate using that goddamn phrase, Sanchez. Didn't give him anything. He probably thought, my God, if I had an easier day in Chelsea's goal.
Yeah. Chelsea generated more XG in second half goal difference in extra time, stoppage time today than Spurs did the entire game.
That's it, mate. Honestly, do you know what? It's no matter what you say about this, Thomas, and I'm saying again, there's a huge... If he comes out and says we played well in parts today, then I will... He needs to look long and hard at himself and think, what the hell am I saying? Yeah. He needs to have that moment. Do you remember when Conte was at Chelsea and he kept trying his formation and then he goes, this ain't working, I'm going back to 3-4-3, and they flew?
Yeah.
He needs to sit down, look at the players he's got and say, right, this isn't working. I'm at Tottenham Hotspur now. I have these players available. I need to find a system where I can get the best out of all of them, because this isn't working.
No, it's not working. But any stretch of the imagination, it was an absolute shambles, and it was an embarrassment and a pathetic performance from everyone involved. And I think the manager's got to take the most blame out of everyone today, I'm afraid to say. So, yeah, look, we lost 1-0 today. It should have been a lot more. That's all we can really say on the matter. So
I will say, though, what we will say is I do believe Frank will get it right. I do believe a couple of windows, get his players in, get his strikers in, like he did at Brentford, and he got them flying. I think we'll be absolutely fine, and all this Frank out nonsense will go away, and we'll be on the right path. But he needs to look at what's going on right now, especially at home, and say this needs to change.
Yeah, and you think about it as well, it's like, it's only 1-0, as much as we've been battered for pretty much the whole game. It's only 1-0. You would think at one point towards the end, last 10 minutes, last 15 minutes, there'd be some urgency. You know, Spurs would go for it a little bit. Because we've seen, like, as soon as we go 1-0 down at Newcastle, we went for it a little bit, and you saw some attacking play. Well, where was that today? There's just nothing.
Yeah, and do you know what? The other thing to add, and fair play, because I've called it out a lot of times, I know you have, about the lack of atmosphere at the home ground. Well,
they turned up today.
They turned up today.
The fans turned up today.
Reminds me of Conte against Milan when he said turn up, the Spurs fans did, and then it went flat because of the performance by the players. So the Spurs fans did exactly what the players have needed, and us fans have wanted to see at the home ground, and they reciprocated with a pile of shit.
Yeah, the reality is Robert Sanchez could have had a sleeping bag and put it out in goal today, and we still wouldn't have made a dent or made him make a save. So absolutely embarrassing, like I say. 1-0 to Chelsea at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We suffer yet another loss to Chelsea, and that is all we're going to say on the matter, as